My friend Kathryn Gallant is the American CEO of a British company specializing in market research on global health care. In her work, Kathryn has spent the past 25 years interviewing hundreds of people as a professional applied social science field researcher. Needless to say, when Kathryn asked if she could interview me about my 64 more experience, I knew I'd be in good hands. And so, as we journeyed behind the scenes of my year-long interview project, Kathryn ably guided me through two of the most fun parts of 64 and More, Bloody Marys and the White House.
One really fun thing that we started on the whole interview tour was Bloody Mary taste testing. It started right off the bat in South Carolina. My son lives outside of Charleston. He had some people that I could interview, so that led us down there. He went to take our family out. So we went to a place, the #1 restaurant in America. And their specialty drink was a Bloody Mary with a pickled green bean and a piece of prosciutto at the bottom of the glass. And to me, to think about a piece of prosciutto marinating in a Bloody Mary that's kind of salty and tangy, I was sold. So I tried it, and it was fabulous. And it just kind of evolved from there, because after that we went to Florida, went to a place called Harry's. They had a great Bloody Mary with more unusual garnishes. So it's just, every place we went, it was like, all right, we're trying it again.
That's your sort of a totem
Right.
drink for the trip.
And as much for the garnish, because the garnishes got to be outrageous. When we were in Baltimore, we went down to D.C. and in Baltimore, and they put 2 chunks of sausage and some olives and some pickles, and it was crazy.
So you've mentioned your son and your daughter. Tell me what it was like for your, what involvement your kids had, what it was like for them. What was their response when you first laid this on them?
Well, I've been dragging them through my interview world for years. I don't think they thought twice about this when I've hatched so many crazy schemes that they're just like, sure, whatever. I think it sounds like fun. I was glad I could incorporate my son into some of it, and he became very helpful in saying, because he has a lot of diverse clients around the country, so he'd say, Mom, I know this person, or make sure you look into this while you're going that way. My daughter became my travel companion a lot of times, which was really nice, because at the end of the interview, a lot of times it's nice to unwind and be able to talk to somebody. And sometimes my grandchildren got to go as well. When we went to Ireland, the whole family went, which was an awesome opportunity to share what I'm doing. And now, just today, my grandson stopped over and he made 3 videos through an Apple app that his mom showed him. And now we're going to start working on creating some videos together. So I'm very excited for that, cool, because he's 12 and we're starting to lose that common ground. Yep. And so now we're going to have something to share.
You've been to some amazing places, including the White House.
It was amazing.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about that story, how that came to be, the woman you interviewed there. And, there's this great photo of you standing at the press secretary's podium in the briefing room.
You had just asked me about my children's role. The person I interviewed at the White House, her name is Liz Allen. She's a lovely, lovely girl from Buffalo, New York. We're very proud to claim her. She was a student of my daughter. My daughter was a high school English teacher. She was the head of the English department for one of the local high schools where we live. And so when I started this interview project, she said, you know what? I'm going to hook you up with Liz. So I went to the White House, and I came an hour early because I didn't want to be late, and waited out front with a guy from the BBC. And started to kind of feel the enormity of standing next to a guy from the BBC, and I'm from Buffalo, New York with my little backpack and no credentials, and just kind of walking in. So they let us in, and they sent a young girl down from the White House staff. She looked like she was 12. I'm sure she was 25 or 30. And she was very focused on what she was doing, and she walked in. And as you walk in from this is coming into like the president's entrance, like it's the back door of the White House.
Wing, yeah.
It's where they go in, the West Wing, exactly. Yeah. So as you walk down the driveway, there are half a dozen tents, what I would call pop-up tents, but it's much grander, much bigger, and they're all green. And inside is a full camera setup, like gorgeous cameras and videos and everything, the mics, cords everywhere, and ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, so that if they have to get to the White House and do something, it's there automatically for them waiting. So I'm walking in with this guy from the BBC, and of course the girl from the White House is probably 20 yards ahead of us, because this is just a job to her. She's just got to get us in. Well, the BBC guy sees someone he knows, so he takes a dead right, and he's in the tents, and I'm looking around. And I see the girl way ahead, and she turns around and she looks and she goes, "Oh, okay, well, you can just keep walking and go in over to the press courtroom over there." And I'm like, "Okay, but I'm not," and she's gone, right? Because I was supposed to be met by someone from Liz's office and all that. And now I'm like, there are two things running through my head. One is, you are alone inside the gate and probably could go anywhere you want right now. And the other thing is, I'm screwed. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. So I get out my little map and I'm trying to figure out my directions from Liz, who's given me explicit directions because I had to fill out a 3-page form and list every piece of equipment I was bringing in, and they added my social security. I mean, this was a big clearance thing. So all of a sudden I hear this voice say, "Know what you're doing?" And I look up and there's this big tall guy leaning against the fence, and he's just kind of standing there. And I said, "Not a clue." And he said, "Come on." So I'm like, "Thank you." So I follow him, and my name's Christian. Like, okay, great. And he's a cameraman. I still, to this day, I don't know who he was for. So we walk in, and he takes me into the press room, and of course I'm like, agog. And he said, "Just put your bag down over there with everybody else's." And there again, NBC, ABC, and there's Christina App's big old backpack. And so he said, "Okay, and see that door over there? Now when you look at it on TV, you see the podium and the White House symbol behind." Well, he points to the left of that. Yeah. And he said, "Over there," he said, "there's a doorway." And he said, "That's where you have to go back in there and tell them you're here." And he said, "You'll be fine." And I'm looking at that doorway thinking, there's no way in hell I'm supposed to walk in there by myself. But he said it was okay.
That's the door the president comes in.
Yeah,
I know
right?
that door. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, oh, I'm sure I'm not supposed to go through that door. And he said, "But before you go," and I said, "Yes." And he said, "Want me to take your picture up there?" Now, I want to feel like I'm cool. Like I'm press. No, I'm media. And so I looked at him and I said, "Oh, no." And he said, "Yeah, you do." And I said, "No, really, I'm here to do an interview." He said, "Everybody does it. It happens 100 times a day." I said, "Are you going to make fun of me?" He said, "No, not at all." He said, "Give me your phone." So I go up there and I stand. Then he starts directing me because, of course, he's a cameraman. "Turn this way, Ellen, over here." He took like 55 pictures and all this, and I'm just dying. And there's more cameramen in the back, and everybody's witnessing this thing, and I don't know if they're going to make fun of me. Everyone was so nice.
Sure.
So I come down, thank him very much. I go in the door he tells me to, and exactly like he said, I go back, I tell him I'm there. I go back out and sit, and then I just start realizing the magnitude of this.